Episode 1, 30 minutes before the apocalypse. Pain was the very first thing Alex felt upon waking. It wasn't the searing agony of broken ribs or the cold bite of iron in his flesh. It was the suffocating, bitter burn of absolute betrayal. In his final moments, he had been trapped in a narrow, pitch-black alleyway, surrounded by horrific abominations born from the abyssal black mist. His flesh was torn, his body broken beyond repair, and a pool of his own blood soaked the cold concrete. Right in front of him stood Emma, the woman he had loved more than life itself, the woman he had bled for, protected, and fed during the darkest days of the end times. She was crying, her eyes filled with tears, but she wasn't reaching out to save him. She was stepping backward, retreating into the safe shadows of an armored transport. "Alex, I'm so sorry. I want to live." Those were her last words before she turned her back on him forever. A split second later, a razor-clawed beast lunged at his throat, and the black mist swallowed his consciousness whole. Ah! Alex sat bolt upright in bed, gasping for oxygen, as if he had just emerged from the depths of an ocean. Cold sweat drenched his t-shirt, and his heart hammered violently against his ribs like a trapped animal. He frantically scanned his surroundings, the familiar faded floral wallpaper, the small, cluttered wooden study desk, sunlight streaming brightly through the translucent window blinds, his old apartment. With hands shaking uncontrollably, Alex snatched his smartphone from the nightstand. The screen lit up instantly, displaying the date in bold white numbers, August 21st, 8:30 a.m. His breath hitched in his throat. No, this is impossible. 30 minutes? He remembered the exact timestamp etched into his soul. In precisely 30 minutes, the sky would bleed black. The enigmatic black mist would shroud the entire globe. Civilization would collapse overnight. Forced evolution would awaken supernatural abilities in a select few, and terrifying monsters would hunt humanity to near extinction. He scrambled out of bed and rushed to the window. Down on the busy streets, life carried on in ignorant bliss. Horns honked, commuters rushed toward the subway, and a young woman smiled as she took a hot coffee cup from a street vendor. Nobody knew that their peaceful world had only half an hour left to exist. Alex clenched his fists so tightly his fingernails bit deep into his palms. A dark, twisted smirk slowly carved its way onto his face. I really came back. I got a second chance. In his past life, he had been weak, naive, and overly merciful. He had trusted everyone blindly, especially Emma. But in this second life, he promised himself he would become a ruthless tyrant if it meant surviving. He unlocked his phone. A flood of mundane work notifications popped up, but one contact name at the top made his blood run cold. Emma heart emoji. Images of her gentle smile, her sweet promises, and her ultimate heartless betrayal flashed through his mind like a horror movie reel. He hated her with every fiber of his being. Yet, a crucial piece of memory struck him. She lived just 2 floors below in this exact apartment complex. If the apocalypse started as scheduled, she would be completely helpless when the first wave of mutated beasts hit the building. Alex grabbed his heavy leather jacket and strode toward the door, muttering under his breath, "Why should I save her? She left me to die." He paused at the threshold, his eyes darkening with dangerous intent. "Because I need answers, and maybe I want her to pay." He hurried down the dim stairwell and stopped right in front of apartment 302. He could hear faint footsteps inside. She was still safe, still innocent, still the girl who hadn't plunged a knife into his chest yet. He raised his hand to knock when, boom! The entire concrete building violently shuddered. Dust rained down from the ceiling as glass shattered in the distance. Alex sprinted to the hallway window. The clear blue sky had suddenly turned an unnatural, bruised purple. Thick, oily black fog began rolling over the city skyline like a colossal tsunami. Panic screams echoed from the streets below. Impossible! The timeline shifted. The apocalypse started early. Before he could process the rising chaos outside, a brilliant neon blue holographic interface materialized directly before his vision. Unknown system detected. Host identity confirmed. Alex. Initializing. The lovely girlfriend loyalty system. Alex froze in place, his brain struggling to process the visual. What the hell is this? Primary target detected. Emma. Current loyalty level 82%. Alex's breathing stopped completely. 82%? The very woman who abandoned me to the beasts in my past life is 82% loyal to me right now? Loyalty greater than or equal to 80%, silver chest unlocked. Loyalty equals 100%, gold chest unlocked. First survival reward delivered, unlimited fresh packed fried rice. Blink. A heavy, warm thermal container materialized instantly into his right hand out of thin air. The mouth-watering aroma of freshly cooked, savory fried rice drifted through the steam vents. Alex stared at the box in sheer absurdity. The sky was falling, the apocalypse was starting early, monsters were spawning, and his ultimate system reward was fresh fried rice? Click. The door to apartment 302 swung open. Alex? He turned around slowly. Emma stood in the doorway, pale and trembling in her oversized pajamas. What's happening outside? The whole building just shook. Alex's gaze turned ice cold. He had sworn never to be her knight in shining armor again. But just as he took a step back to leave her to her fate, a jagged, unnatural shadow darted across her living room wall. His combat instincts from a lifetime of surviving the apocalypse kicked in instantly. Emma, get behind me! Wait, Alex, what are you? Crash! The double-paned balcony window shattered into 1,000 flying shards. A jet-black reptilian creature with razor-sharp talons and glowing crimson eyes lunged through the broken frame. Without a second thought, Alex tackled Emma to the floor, shielding her fragile body beneath his own. He glared at the beast, his pulse racing not with terror, but with an exhilarating rush of adrenaline. He wasn't the helpless victim anymore. Loyalty target protected. Loyalty plus 1%. Current loyalty 83%. Alex stared at the glowing floating text, then glanced down at the terrified, breathless girl clinging tightly to his jacket. A slow, dangerous smile spread across his face. So that's how this game works. If I want ultimate power in this broken world, I just have to keep my betrayer alive.